The Texas Hill Country is our playground. It's a unique mix of arid, rocky terrain with spring-fed rivers that bust out of the hillside. It's pretty cool. On this particular weekend, we put together a last-minute trip. Bennett, Chris, and myself set off on what was going to be our first, truly, winter kayak camping experience. You see, none of us had ever really been on a winter camping adventure, or at least not in recent history. Whoa, For all we knew, our gear was outdated and not rated for the temperatures, but that didn't stop us. We packed in more layers than what we thought we needed, just trying to imagine what sleeping in 20-degree weather would be like. In hindsight, we had no idea what was about to go down.
There goes the paint.
This trip was particularly nerve-wracking, mostly because of the unknown. We had never done this stretch of river and didn't know what to expect at current flow rates, but the biggest thing looming out there was the winter weather. We don't let gear get in the way of adventure. Time for one of the most epic kayak camping adventures we've been on to date. This one is going down in the record books.
Just made it to the river, putting in. We have a couple miles to paddle tonight. Then we're gonna set up camp on a nice island. But today is beautiful. It's going to be chilly tonight, but it's gonna be all right. We're having a good time. The first little section of this river, it's kind of like limestone flutes. So we have to walk it about a half mile. After that, we'll be paddling. As you can see, it's real tough. Midnight on the interstate. All right, the first paddle stroke of winter. We have Chris's inaugural trip.
When I hit your boat, it felt like hitting a rock.
Yeah. I am loaded down to the gill. Oh, I need to get back to paddling, about to hit a rock. Here we go. Woohoo! Open like a child. Yeah, boy. Man, it's been a while. It is seriously a perfect day out here. Wow. We just made it through the first walking and rapid section, and now we kind of just have a peaceful paddle for the next probably mile or two.
Even though we had trials ahead, the crew is doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, this is awesome. Wow. The sun is going down quick, so we're racing to camp. Yes. Rock. Happy birthday. Yeah. Made it through. Yeah, Chris. Woohoo. First rapid was a huge success. We've already had to bilge. I nearly flipped in it. Some rock hit me and I just went shooting off to the side. And then it shot me into another hydraulic. But man, if you just look around, the boys are so pumped. It is beautiful. Look at that. And the best part is, we get to camp in this river. This thing is looking very steep. I'm probably gonna fall on this one. Okay, boy, the root ball.
The Llano is full of surprises, much like this kind of sketchy rapid run looking up at cliffs and a beautiful sunset. Wow.
Dude, good job.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is why we escape the city and come out to the wild. Just let loose a little bit, paddle some rivers. Man. Dude, good job on those rapids, man.
Heck yeah.
Davy Crockett once said, "You may all go to hell and I'll go to Texas." I'm starting to understand why. This place is seriously beautiful.
Cheers to the Llano River 2019. Only a few days left. Woo! I wouldn't have it any other way though. To be out in nature with good friends.
It's the best.
It's the best. You just can't go wrong.
Yeah, buddy. Oh! Good job, Chris. The reason we feel comfortable going into the backcountry together is because we have trust. Trust that no matter what happens, my guys will be able to get us out. Let's go. Oh no, shit. Oh. I don't know why, but I just direct hit that rock. I kind of realized too late.
Getting warmer by the pump.
It's getting into the 40s right now because the sun is setting. And it's supposed to be in the 20s tonight, but we're still gonna camp and have a great time. This water is freezing. It's in the 50s right now, which I know for you northerners, that's nothing crazy, but it's cold for us down here in Tejas. One of the best parts about these trips is really just unwinding and doing something stupid like going down a little chute with one hand. A little frothy from the rapids.
Brave men fall.
And for those of you wondering how I filmed some of these shots, well, it's not exactly safe, but here's an inside look. Oh my gosh, this is literally like paddling in a dreamy landscape. Thank you to every last one of y'all who watches these videos, shares them with your friends, and likes and comments about what you're doing in the kayaking world. I love every single interaction. So guys, keep it up. Let's get back to the video. Oh no, I splashed myself for no reason. So I think the bank right here is a perfect combination of sand and rocks. I think it'd be comfortable to sleep on. Are you guys down to camp here? Here we go.
It's cold.
It is so cold out here.
Can't feel anything.
Like we need to get something going for heat. We've got a fire started and now we're gonna start collecting firewood. The warmth of this fire on the skin right now is game changing because it is so cold.
This is what living's all about, folks.
At this point in the day, our feet were numb from the cold water, but we were racing the sunset, trying to get things in order before temperatures went south. Collecting wood and making a fire were top priorities. We needed it to stay warm and to make our dinner. Dude, this thing is massive.
That's awesome.
Once we were set up with those, we were actually sitting in a pretty good spot to enjoy our evening. Bennett is building a reflector because it's supposed to be in the 20s tonight. And any of you guys that are critiquing our fire right now, we have an Eagle Scout in attendance. Chris is an Eagle Scout, and we camp quite often, so I don't want to hear any of it. We told stories and laughed for a long time that night, but whenever we crawled into our tents, that all stopped. 20-degree weather is not kind on the ill-prepared. Bennett is getting the fire going again because there is a thin layer of ice on literally everything. It's in the 20s right now, and we were all very cold all last night. Honestly, pretty stoked to see the sun coming up because we're a little tired right now. Morning, Chris.
What's up, dude?
Morning, Bennett.
Hey. I never meant to stay so long in the Missouri borderland.
How'd you sleep, man?
What? You slept?
Well, I personally didn't. I was just wondering if you did.
No, I didn't get much sleep last night. It was very cold. That's about that.
Yeah. How's your sleeping?
I don't think I did.
Pretty much just tossed and turned all night. Honestly, coffee sounds a lot better.
It's day 2 of our camping trip. We just woke up, Ben's making some coffee. We just sparked up the fire again. Pretty soon here we're gonna have to start packing up because Ben's got some places to be. This whole winter camping thing is pretty tricky, and we haven't figured it out yet, but we're looking forward to going again. We just need to figure out how to stay warmer, if that makes sense. You can see a nice little layer of ice in the boats. It is ice, not just sitting water. And on the paddles and on virtually everything. This is a perfect example of how cold it was last night. I just pulled this out of the kayak. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be headed home. What about you, Chris? Same?
Oh yeah. It's definitely a cold night, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, oh for sure. I would do this again in a heartbeat. This was just hilarious. Are you kidding me?
This is nuts. Yeah, I had a bunch of ice in mine as well.
Did you? We had a few bites to eat, and now we're gonna start packing all of our things into the frozen bags and set out on the river. Definitely a top place that we've ever camped, for sure. We'll be back.
We put our frozen clothes back on, took our tents that still had quite a layer of frost on them, and packed them into their sacks. I don't know, it was kind of bittersweet because this was one of the better campsites we've ever stayed at, but I was ready to be back in the warmth.
Oh, we made it. Dude, we did make it. When you're surrounded by this kind of stuff, it really just makes it all worth it.
And the only thing I had not thought that before. A posse found me outside town.
All right, day 2 is off to a
I
start.
was kneeling there to pray.
We're headed back to another low water crossing. Chris leading the way.
We all learned a lot this trip. Perseverance, taking on harsh conditions, it can be done, even if there is some struggle. But as we woke up and paddled towards the cars, yet another beautiful day was on the horizon.
One last rapid of
Please don't
the trip.
my brother
Fantastic trip. Another one in the books, baby. Woo. Good job, Chris.
It's nice
that it's a little rapid at the end too.
Awesome.
Either friend.
Mountains.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this trip. We had such a blast. It was so cold, which made it a little bit tough, but that just means we need to tweak our winter camping gear. We'll catch y'all on the next one. See ya.